Before we deconstruct the brutal multi-trillion-dollar generational transfer of market influence, I have exactly 3 critical questions for you to answer in the comments below. Number 1. Is your board of directors spending millions on traditional consulting firms to predict consumer shift, entirely blind to the fact that the actual blueprint is sitting at your own employee's dinner table? Number 2. If your enterprise strategy relies on marketing frameworks created before the year 2020, how do you expect to capture a consumer segment that swipes before they write and negotiate before they drive? Number 3. Do you understand the precise logistical difference between a token corporate diversity initiative and a highly structured data-driven reverse mentorship protocol? Let me know your answer. If you are new to the channel, here is my intro. I'm Dr. HR. I approach the global labor and capital market not with emotional comforting advice, but as a structural algorithmic system. I hold a PhD in human resources, a master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences TISS in Mumbai, and a bachelor's in computer engineering. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities, sovereign wealth funds, and apex tech founders across the Middle East and India, I have monitored exactly how organizational designs succeed or catastrophically fail. The market does not reward you for clinging to senior hierarchies. It rewards you for downloading real-time consumer telemetry from the ultimate source. Your enterprise strategy is currently on a collision course with absolute obsolescence, and your legacy leadership doesn't even see it coming. In the 2026, traditional corporate hierarchies are completely failing to translate the raw algorithmic intuition that defines the modern consumer market. If you are not actively operationalizing the generation's alpha native digital logic today, your organization is already structurally behind. What if the most powerful strategic consultant for your multi-million-dollar corporation was a 12-year-old native operator? We are completely bypassing outdated, slow-moving management structure to embed Gen Alpha's unique digital fluency directly into our enterprise architecture. This isn't just a wellness trend, it is a hard mathematical logistical necessity for maintaining operational agility in a hyper-automated, youth-driven global economy. Stop trying to predict the future through obsolete spreadsheet and start downloading it directly through a structured reverse mentorship. We are revealing exactly how to harvest the automated algorithmic instinct of Generation Alpha to permanently insulate your business against rapid market shift. Learn how to leverage their native insight to ensure your enterprise strategy ruthlessly outpaces the competition in this autonomous era. Before I completely dismantle the illusion of top-down management wisdom, expose the exact mechanics of Gen Alpha's $5.4 trillion consumption footprint, and give you the precise architectural blueprint to deploy the reverse mentorship logistics framework across India and UAE, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor and capital market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. Stop lecturing the new market, start downloading its code, grab a notebook, it is time to future-proof your enterprise. Phase 1, the macroeconomic collision, the velocity of alpha. We must first diagnose the exact debilitating structural blind spot that has infected the C-suite from the tech parks of Bangalore to the boardrooms of Abu Dhabi. Legacy leadership teams are comfortable. They have spent decades mastering a linear model of consumer behavior. They understand television ads, search engine optimization, and generic retail funnels. They look at the Generation Alpha, the cohort born between 2010 and 2024, and dismiss them as children. They categorize them as a distant, long-term consideration for the year 2035. This is a terminal forecasting error. Let us run the raw data of May 2026. Generation Alpha already accounts for nearly 24% of the global population. By 2029, their direct and indirect economic footprint is projected to reach absolute scale of $5.46 trillion, approaching the combined spending power of Millennial and Gen Z. And their true power is not just wallet, it is the upstream influence multiplier. PwC's recent 2026 data confirms a profound shift. 97% of Gen Alpha children make or directly influence independent purchasing decisions within their household. They are not a passive consumer, they are highly active digital researchers who dictate what car their parents buy in Dubai, what insurance policy their family select in Mumbai, and how their household capital is distributed. They are the most commercially confident, digitally native, and entrepreneurially active generation in the human history. Your enterprise strategy is on a collision course with obsolescence because your leadership team is trying to market to a 42-year-old parent using logic that the parent's 12-year-old child has already evaluated, debunked, and filtered out. Traditional corporate hierarchies assume that wisdom flows downward strictly based on corporate tenure. The senior executive teaches the junior employee who designed the product for the end user. In a hyper-accelerated AI-driven market where the interface of commerce updates every 6 months, tenure has become negatively correlated with digital reality. Your senior board members are completely insulated from the actual digital platform where brand loyalty is won or lost. They are operating on historical memories. Gen Alpha is operating on live algorithm. Phase 2, the radical inversion, bypassing the boardroom. To survive this collision, we must execute a radical inversion of organizational design. We must deploy the reverse mentorship logistics framework. This is not a token human resources initiative designed to make the companies look progressive on a corporate CSR report. This is an emotionless structural bypass. Let us deconstruct what the data tells us how Gen Alpha actually processes reality. 1. Video as an interface, not the format. Older generation view video as content you consume. Gen Alpha views video as a primary operating system of their lives. 68% use YouTube regularly and 46% of early tweens are completely embedded in short-term video loops like TikTok and Shorts. They do not read text documentation. If your enterprise product or enterprise interface requires a manual or a static text FAQ, you are mathematically invisible to them. 2. Gaming as a co-creative social spaces. To a 50-year-old executive, Roblox, Fortnite, and a Minecraft are video games. To Gen Alpha, these are decentralized media platform, persistent corporate commerce environment, and community hubs. They track their identity, their peer status, and their brand loyalty through virtual assets. 3. Real-time adaptive expectations. Gen Alpha has zero tolerance for operational latency. They are raised on real-time adaptive AI interfaces like Duolingo, where the entire digital environment morphs on the fly based on scroll speed, gaze duration, and execution errors. They expect your digital storefront, your banking application, and your corporate interface to adapt to them instantly without asking. What if the most powerful consultant for your multi-million-dollar corporation was a 12-year-old native operator? When a traditional consumer goods company or a tier 1 retail bank in the UAE want to launch a new digital asset, they hire an experienced global consultancy. The consultancy takes 6 months to compile a static PDF report filled with outdated retrospective data. The reverse mentorship logistics framework eliminates the middleman. We pair your senior C-suite executive, your chief marketing officer, your chief technology officer, your head of product directly with your youngest high agency Gen Z or early Gen Alpha employees. Or we establish parental employee feedback network that channels the direct, unedited telemetry of their children straight into the boardroom. We are bypassing the slow corporate layer to embed their unique fluency directly into our enterprise architecture. We are injecting raw, biological truth into an executive suite that has been insulated by its own suck. Phase 3, the India-UAE strategic matrix, the regional arbitrage. We must explicitly apply this framework to intense structural realities of the India-UAE economic corridor in the 2026. Let us look at the UAE sovereign sandbox. Under the Dubai Economic Agenda D33, the city is positioning itself as a global capital of a digital economy. The UAE is launching tokenized real estate frameworks, autonomous driving network, and digital-first banking nodes. But the executive talent running these institutions are often expats or legacy operators whose core mental models were formed in low-velocity, linear Western market. If a UAE bank wants to dominate the region, they cannot simply build a cleaner mobile app. They must leverage reverse mentorship to understand how Gen Alpha uses decentralized digital wallets and peer-to-peer social commerce. Gen Alpha does not buy products based on traditional TV or in-store browsing. 61% point directly to social media and digital creator routines as their primary discovery engine. If your bank or your real estate firm isn't natively embedded inside their virtual social spaces, your enterprise is functionally dead in the water. Now, let us look at the Indian scale engine. India possesses the largest absolute population of Generation Alpha on the planet. This is a massive, hyper-connected demographic wave that is bypassing the PC era entirely, operating strictly on high-speed mobile networks and AI-integrated devices. In India, the intergenerational wealth transfer is hitting an inflection point. Trillions of rupees are moving from traditional risk-averse patriarch to digital affluent, commercially confident hires. If an Indian enterprise, whether it is a conglomerate like Tata or a fast-growing financial entities in Mumbai, relies on legacy top-down marketing, they will watch their consumer retention number hit a zero signal floor. The modern Indian youth demands authenticity over corporate script. They demand edutainment where learning, gaming, and consumptions are fused into a single value stream. By operationalizing reverse mentorship, logistics between your senior management and your native digital workforce, you build a structural bridge between a capital of legacy board and behavioral telemetry of the new subcontinent. You create a regional arbitrage where your company updates its enterprise strategy before the shift even reflects in the public market data. Phase 4, the reverse mentorship logistics protocol, the execution engine. We have diagnosed the macroeconomic collision, mapped the radical inversion of the boardroom, and analyzed the India-UAE corridor. Now, you must execute the operation. How do you build a reverse mentorship program that actually drives enterprise value, rather than collapsing into a token HR gimmick? You must deploy the reverse mentorship logistics protocol. You do not simply put a 50-year-old VP and a 25-year-old associate in a room and tell them to talk about TikTok. That is administrative waste. You must structure the interaction as a strict parameter-driven engineering process. Step 1. The matching algorithm silo dissolution. Your peer participates based on silo dissolution, not lateral affinity. You take your head of legal and compliance and pair them with a junior developer who is obsessed with the open source AI model and decentralized applications. You take your chief marketing officer and pair them with an entry-level associate who runs a successful side hustle, creator channel outside of work. You match the raw domain expertise with native platform fluency. 2. Establishing the psychological guardrail. Traditional mentoring fails because the junior employee feels psychologically unsafe to contradict the executive, and the senior executive feels intellectually threatened by the junior's digital dominance. The HR department must establish an ironclad zero evaluation zone. You clarify in writing that this partnership is a strategic alignment engine, entirely decoupled from the corporate performance review cycle. You train the senior mentee in active listening and humility. You train the junior mentor in structural corporation articulation and systems thinking. 3. The telemetry hack, live focus groups. Do not look at the PowerPoint slides. The reverse mentorship sessions must be active, hands-on, and operational. During a session, the senior executive must hand their unlocked corporate device to a junior mentor. The junior mentor execute a task, ordering a product, accessing a service, or navigating the company's digital portal, while the executive simply watches their biological behavior. The executive records the friction in real time. Why did they skip that menu? Why did they close the page within 2 seconds? What open loop did they expect that the software failed to deliver? You're capturing raw, unscripted user experience diagnostic from the source. 4. The 60-day strategic synthesis. The mentorship cycle cannot be infinite. It must run on a high-velocity micro-timeline. A cycle should last exactly 6 months, consistingly of 6 structured high-density sessions. At the conclusion of each session, the pair must output a single actionable strategic variant. This is a document that states, based on the behavioral telemetry of Gen Alpha Z platforms analyzed today, our current Q3 enterprise interface possesses an unacceptable 4-second delay in trust formation. We recommend executing this specific UI/UX optimization immediately to prevent terminal cart abandonment. You translate generational difference into direct, unassailable organizational value. Phase 5. The Human Resources Metamorphosis. This protocol completely rewrites the entire mandate of modern corporate human resources. In the legacy era, HR's job was to police the hierarchy. They enforced organizational chart, managed traditional top-down training, and made sure everyone stayed in their designated corporate boxes. In the 2027 autonomous global economy, that version of HR is obsolete. Human resources must undergo a structural metamorphosis to become the central processing unit of a cognitive diversity. HR is the only department that possesses the legal and data-driven authority to reorganize the internal reporting layer of the enterprise. You must stop acting as an administrative clerk and start acting as a sovereign network architect. When you implement reverse mentorship logistics, you are intentionally flattening the organization. You are democratizing knowledge. You are stripping away the artificial prestige of tenure and replacing it with the absolute sovereignty of operational truth. You build an enterprise culture that flattens generational stereotype, accelerate internal digital fluency, and uncover lethal strategic blind spot before they can dry up your cash flow. You turn your human capital pipeline into a dynamic learning organization where wisdom loops continuously from the bottom to the top and back down again. Phase 6. The Sovereign Enterprise, the ultimate future-proof mode. We have deconstructed every phase of the generational inversion. Now we look at the ultimate destination, the Sovereign Enterprise. The global economy is entering an era of absolute automation. AI agent will soon handle your data entry, your code compiling, and your standard marketing analytics. Intelligence is becoming free. What remains scarce? What is the final unautomatable mode that ensures an enterprise survives the next decade? The absolute alignment between corporate strategy and the changing human behavior. The companies that rely on top-down centralized insulated management will watch their market capitalization evaporate. They will build beautiful, efficient software for a consumer base that has already migrated to a completely different digital node. They will optimize their steam engine while the rest of the world has already transitioned to the microchip. The sovereign enterprise does not guess. The sovereign enterprise does not sit in a closed boardroom hoping their strategy resonates with the next generation. They use reverse mentorship logistics to turn their internal workforce into a highly sensitive, real-time consumer radar. They download the future directly from the source code. They recognize that a 12-year-old child's literal, uncorrupted algorithmic intuition is an infinitely more valuable data signal than a 50-page market report written by a legacy consultancy. Look closely at your current enterprise roadmap. Look at the executive committee running your division. Are they completely synchronized with the behaviors of a generation that buys real-world assets inside virtual gaming grids? Or are they still trying to figure out how to optimize their corporate LinkedIn page? The 2027 autonomous economy reward agility, horizontal collaboration, and cognitive velocity. Dismantle the legacy hierarchies, stop lecturing the youth, re-engineer your reporting pipeline, deploy the reverse mentorship protocol, harvest the raw algorithmic instinct of Generation Alpha, and build an adaptable sovereign enterprise strategy that completely dominates the future before the competition even realizes the game has changed. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I will see you at the top.